The first Qantas flight between Darwin and London has left the top end. The airline has shifted its direct London flights to Darwin after the West Australian government refused to operate them from Perth.
On December 10, 1919, the first flight from London to Australia landed in Darwin. More than a century on, direct flights from Darwin to the UK have resumed.
We're going to have many opportunities for passengers to go from Darwin to the world. It's a great connection of our island continent to the rest of the world.
The first Qantas flight between Darwin and London departed on Monday night. The historic journey came after the airline struck a deal with the Northern Territory government to base its direct London service in the top end.
Over the past 18 months, Darwin has welcomed thousands of Australians home on the Qantas federal government repatriation flights, and we've built on that relationship to secure the Darwin-London air route, London-Darwin.
Facilities in the top end have improved significantly since the first flight touched down at the Fanny Bay airstrip in 1919. Qantas has opened a new international lounge for passengers as they transit through Darwin to other capital cities.
With the gateway of Australia opening up, we're seeing very strong demand out of both Sydney and Melbourne for those first flights.
Qantas was forced to shift its operations to Darwin when the Western Australian government refused to resume direct flights between London and Perth.
The speed at which the government has reacted and the speed at which the Chief Minister in particular has made this happen has been fantastic.
The flights will operate between London and Darwin until at least April next year.
We'll work closely with Qantas to hopefully continue this air route into the future.
While international travel has resumed, the states and territories remain divided over how passengers should be treated when they land on Australian soil. Those landing in Sydney have been free to leave, but anyone disembarking a London flight in Darwin will still have to quarantine until at least mid-January. Matt Cunningham, Sky News, Darwin.